Welcome back to Orphan Espresso. I'm Doug.
And I'm Barb.
And I'm sure you're excited to be back because your grinder is all in pieces and now you want to put it together. So just to go back, in the last video, this is where we left you. These are all of the pieces to your old 1.1 or 1.0 grinder. Okay? 1.0, you're going to have a few extras, but you get the gist of it. Now, this is our upgrade kit. All right, you have spring plate. This is a new axle. This is the part that fits the axle with pointer. Okay, the 1.1 kit is all metric. You have 3 springs for the plate. This is the lower bearing carrier and the cup, and this is the decal. Okay, in the interest of Julia Child, you put the decal on like this. It's a fiddly job and you have to be really careful, so I'm not going to do it in this video, okay? But this is on the bottom of the top plate, but you'll put the decal on the top plate when you're finished, okay? It's a skill job. That's not what I do, okay? So anyway, now we assemble the grinder, okay? Simple enough. We take the top plate. This is an at-home job. We do have jigs that help us do this in the factory, but if you've ever taken your Pharos apart, you kind of have an idea of what's in store for you, okay? Now we turn this over. Don't be confused by the valve. On goes the upper hopper. On goes the burr in this orientation. Big teeth down, little teeth up. Those are the spring pockets. On goes the burr through these 4. I take a good time to not be able to find that. Okay. We've been assembling these for a couple of weeks, and so I should be able to do this, but we do it right side up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now my springs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when things get a little tricky, you have to make a jig for yourself. Okay, this is a piece of wood with a hole drilled in the center of it. Okay, you can use cardboard, you can use whatever, but you have to take this and you have to set it on top, so because we're going to put our axle in. All right, let's set that aside and prepare the axle. Okay, this is your new axle. This is your old key. Can you see, Barb? Mm-hmm. This has 2 different orientations. It has a curved and a flat. Curved and flat. You put it in the curved way. You just put that in the little slot, just like that. Can you see it, Barb?
You hold it still.
Oh, right there. See the curves?
Yep.
Okay. We take our burr, match up the key to the keyway in the burr. You see it? Mm-hmm. Done. Okay, no Loctite, nothing else. Real nice machining on this part. We take this now and we put it through our bushing upside down. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now the burr's in place. It's all on this block. Oh shoot, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, it's all on something that has a hole through it. I wish I wouldn't have done that. Oh my. Anyway, I was going to show you this whole thing, but now I've got it all screwed up. All right. Okay, the heads of the bolts are sitting on the surface. The shaft of the axle is down in the hole. All right. I'm approaching what turns out to be the tricky part. Okay, this is our middle plate. Okay? Mm-hmm. So this doesn't have a grommet in it. Yours will have a black grommet here, but see the holes? 1, 2, 3, and this is the one in the center. There's the one in the center. Goes on like that. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, here's our bushing carrier. You line up, you kind of push down on that plate. Now, as I said, this is the tricky part. You have to compress the plate. Many times an assistant would be quite helpful to do this. You got to get these bolts started. This is a lot easier for two people to do this job. You got to get the nut started there.
You hold, I'll start the nut.
Well, that's quite nice of you.
That's because I'm a nice person.
There. See what I mean? Because you have just enough threads. Now you see, the carrier acts as the wrench. So the nuts have to end up with the flat sides oriented in that carrier, just so. See, it really helps if one person squeezes the plate and the other person starts the nuts.
Okay.
Okay, so now I can let go of it. See how the sides of the nuts are down in that? This piece acts like a wrench on those. It holds the nuts there. That's really the hardest part of the job, is getting that done. See, now it's all together. All right, now all I have to do is tighten these. That's an awful long. And I just go in an X around the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, that's physically the hardest part of it is getting
the nuts started on those.
Because we didn't want to have any extra threads sticking out of those nuts to interfere with the cup underneath of it. Now, okay, these go tight. Just get them all basically the same tightness. Okay? Now once you have them all tight and the same, see, they're good and tight. I'm not super torquing them, but they're tight, so there's no gap in here. What you've done is you compress the whole system until everything is all together and there's no gap here. What we're going to do now is we're going to create a gap approximately that's the same size all the way around. Using my T as a guide, or you can use a straight hex with a line on it, however you want to do it. You get it approximately loosen at one turn. One.
So you put them all in the same tightness and then back them all off one turn.
One turn. Once again, I do this in an X. And this is up and down. One. So I've created a gap down below the burr. Between the burr and the plate. See?
So
and it's movable. Okay? Once I get that done, it's time for me to proceed. But that's kind of, part of it, is and that's the function of these springs. The springs they're pretty strong springs, and they hold the whole thing really tight while you're doing this, okay? So now, I simply put in one and let it roll. That's why the grinder's round, by the way, so you can roll it around. Two. Oops, I put that in the wrong place, now, didn't I? That's the grommet hole, that's the tool holder. Two, three. Okay, that's that part of the assembly. Now, this is a Pharos lower hopper, okay? This is what I use. I pick it up and drop it on this little assembly stand. All it is a piece of ABS pipe. It's just a scrap piece, right? But it just happens to work out right. You can use a tape core or many other things, piece of wood, but this makes it a little handier rather than using it putting it on its side. Now these three go on, and your spring plate Now your springs. You'll see on the springs, one end of them has a little bend. See that little key, that little bend? You see it, Barb?
Mm-hmm.
It goes against that plate. It goes with the bent thing against the plate. Now once again, your nuts are in here. You look underneath and you find that hole. Which I can't find right now. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. There's where I am right there. Okay.
You're looking for that grommet hole.
Yeah, okay, so now that's where the nut is. And the nut is just laying there. So I'm spinning, just turning
you
this.
Just spin the bowl.
And it'll go right into that nut. The nut's got a little locking flange on it. You just do it upside down like this. See, the nut, it's now in there. Don't over tighten it. And get that started, just like that. Okay? Now, I'm ready to do the alignment. I'm almost done, amazingly enough.
You have 4 minutes.
Okay, I have 4 minutes. Okay, I tell you what, I think we should come and finish the alignment in a third video because
That's a good idea.
it's not instantaneous, but let me finish the part of the assembly. Now I put my nylon on, like that. I put in my new pointer. Doesn't matter which way you put it. Okay. And I'm pretty much ready to do the alignment and finish the grinder. So we'll come back in the last video to finish off this process. Thank you.